Welcome to part 3 of my 5-part series on why you are not achieving your goals. If you're new, do not start here. I want you to go back. I have part 1 and part 2 linked below in the description for you to go to. Part 3 is about life happening because life will happen in the pursuit of your goals. My name is Quenisha. I am your host, coach, teacher, and fellow baddie, and this is Be a Better Baddie, the community where women come to become their most balanced, authentic, driven, deserving, iconic, and evolving selves. And we are doing a 5-part series on why you're not achieving your goals. It's not because you're lazy, it's not because you're unfocused, it's not because you're undisciplined. It's because of these 5 reasons, these 5 traps that I've called them. So, day 1 was about setting too many goals. Day 2 was about preparation procrastination. And today, day 3 is about life happened. Now what? I know all of us have been there before. We're on the roll with our goals. We're hitting it day in, day out, making progress, feeling good, loving where things are going. And then, boom, something happens that completely blows our world up. And it doesn't need to be dramatic, but life just showed up, right? And all of your focus is no longer on this high impact goal where you've built out this beautiful plan. Instead, it is on this problem that life presented to you. Something that takes up your energy, your time, your mental bandwidth. And suddenly, your goal, the thing that you wanted to achieve, the thing that is going to change your life in the next 12 weeks, is now on the back burner. You find yourself behind. You feel like you've lost so much ground that you don't find it worth starting over again. You don't find it worth picking up again. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Because when life happens, your goals shouldn't die. That guilt turns into exhaust, makes it even harder for you to come back to your goal. So you quietly just back away from it and say, I'll start again next year. I'll start again next month. And here's the thing, the original goal never failed you. The disruption didn't even fail you. It's the story you told yourself about the disruption that failed you. Most people don't abandon their goals because life got hard. They abandon their goals because they decide that a disrupted, perfect plan meant a dead goal. Those two are not the same thing. So why does this happen so consistently? First, we build our goals around ideal conditions. When we write out our plans, we assume every day is going to be sunny outside. Everyone's always going to be healthy. Nothing will ever need my attention. We write these goals based on a version where everything is functioning normally. So when our normal falls apart, the plan falls apart with it, and we don't know how to recalibrate. We treat lost time as in lost progress. When you miss 1 week, sometimes it could feel like you missed the whole month. You might as well start over. But that's not how time works, and that's not how it works. The work that you did before doesn't magically disappear. We need to start viewing that missed time as just a gap. It's just a gap and not a reset. Third, some of us use this disruption as a confirmation of our fears. There is a little voice inside of your head already saying, you're not going to do this. You're not going to do this. And then when life interrupts, that voice comes and says, I already told you wasn't going to do it, my boy. Like, why did you think you were going to do it? And you end up listening to that hater. Last is we confuse the plan with the goal. Okay. The plan is how you intend on getting there. The plan are the steps leading up to the end goal. The goal is where you're trying to go. When the plan breaks, this line, when it breaks, the goal is still there. You just need to create a different path to get there. So what's the story behind this? Someone in my accountability group is going through something really heavy right now, right? It is taking up a lot of her mental energy, her time, her capacity, her focus over the last couple weeks. Mind you, this is separate from everything else going on in her life because we're all humans with things going on. And through it all, in our check-in, I expected her to say, I put my goals on pause for now. And she didn't say that. And I was so happy to hear that because though she wasn't hitting every target as she originally planned, and the cadence looked different, and her capacity was different, she was still moving. She was still showing up to the group chat. She was still updating us all on her progress towards her goals. And she was still taking action. Though it was smaller than what she originally intended to be, she was still moving. And that's the thing that you need to hear. She's not waiting for her issue to be resolved for her to say, okay, finally I can get started on this thing. While this major thing is going on in her life, she's still taking tiny steps. Why? Because she wants to continue showing up for herself. And she wants to keep that promise that she made to herself. So she's showing up every day for herself imperfectly and consistently by her own standards, but she's still being consistent because she's still making those little steps every day towards her ultimate goal. And that's not a small thing. That is the entire purpose, right? So we have this 12-week year plan, and the purpose of it isn't to be this rigid plan that you must stick with. The purpose is for you to have a plan to refer to so that when life does get tough, when life happens, you have something that you can look at. You have a map that you can refer to. And it's okay for you to find another way to get to the end route. You don't have to follow those original steps, especially if those original steps do not work for you. So they're not going to be the 12 perfect weeks. They're going to be 12 real weeks. And that is what all of us are going to encounter. That is real life, because real life includes hard seasons. How do you know this is you? If you find yourself restarting the same goal multiple times instead of just picking up where you left off, if you feel like you need a clean slate before you can move forward with anything, if you're the type of person that likes to say, I want to wait for things to calm down before I start working on my goals, or you said, I want to wait for things to be more stable before I start working on this. And if any of that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this. You're not behind. You're just in a harder season, and harder seasons still count. Progress that you make in your hard seasons count. All of us will have a hard season. It doesn't happen to some of us. It doesn't happen to a select few. It happens to all of us at different times. So here's the reframe. I want you to stop thinking, how do I get back on track? And instead ask yourself, what does progress look like in this season in my life with what I actually have available? You just have to start showing up, and you have to be okay with what consistency looks like in this season of your life being different from what consistency looked like in another version of your life. How do I get back on track is a different question from what does progress look like for me right now? Getting back on track assumes there's an original plan. You need to get back on it. You need to stick to the original plan. But the original plan was built for a different version of you. It was built with, again, ideal circumstances, and that may not be your case. Ask yourself, what small, meaningful action can I take? Not the action that you wish you can take, the action that you actually can take. Everything does not need to be idealistic. I don't know if that's a word, but it needs to be realistic. Next is to give yourself credit for what you actually still are doing and how you are still showing up, even if the things that you're doing looks nothing like what you originally planned, because that is most likely the case. And last, protect the goal when you can't protect the plan. The goal still matters, even when the plan can't be followed. The plan can't be protected. Well, oh well. But protect that goal. The women who finish strong aren't the women who had the smoothest 12 weeks. They are the ones who refuse to let a hard week or a hard month become the reason that they quit. One of the things we do at the Better Baddie experience is design plans that are meant for real life, not ideal life. There's a section where we discuss how to recalibrate when things don't go as planned and building a low effort plan, because sometimes you just can't give it 100%. And you need to plan for what 50% looks like and be okay with that 50%. If that's something you need right now, you can register with the link in the description. It is on May 30th. It's virtual, 10 a.m. Central Time, and I have more details on the Eventbrite page. So I want you to think about a goal that you stepped away from because life got in the way. I want you to ask yourself honestly, is that goal dead? Or did you step away from it because the plan fell apart? You don't need a clean slate. You don't need ideal conditions. You just need to take the first step. I'll see you tomorrow for day 4. Until then, I hope you have a positively productive, self-loving day. Bye.